I'm going to be focusing on North American culture right now today, right? But I need to acknowledge that's not the case for the whole world, right? And also, all this research is correlational. So if you have these 5 factors, that correlates with higher or lower rates of divorce. We're going to talk about the theories and we're going to speculate, but remember that correlation does not necessarily equal causation. So even if you're like, okay, I'm going to do all 5 of these factors, does that guarantee that you're not going to get divorced?
No.
No. And then, of course, there are people who maybe even went against all 5 and they will stay married. So also remember that research in psychology is not 100%. These are just the 5 factors that predict. So how many marriages do end in divorce in the United States-ish, give or take?
50%.
Yeah, 50% is the number you hear the most often. You will see estimates anywhere from 35 to 65%. That's how wide the estimates are in terms of trying to guess. But if you average that all out, it comes down to somewhere around 50%, give or take. Hi, come on in. I've been married twice, so I contribute to that statistic. And hopefully it'll be 50-50. Hopefully I'll beat the odds on the second one. My first husband, not a bad guy, and I don't regret my first marriage. But my second marriage, so much better. So much better. I did things a lot differently based on a lot of the research that we're going to talk about. And those of you who know me, it's kind of dark there. The picture on the right is my husband Celso and he's Brazilian. We got married in the Caribbean on the beach. And then very traditional first marriage with the dress and the family and all that stuff. So it's about half. But again, keep in mind, you will always see that number. Have you ever gone to a wedding, like as a guest, and been sitting there thinking, why are they doing this? You know, like you can see it coming. And
that was my last marriage.
No, I was at a wedding, this was ages ago, but I was at a wedding where I did not partake in this, but people, and it was a very formal sit down, they are feeding us, they spent a good $20,000 on this wedding, and people eating their food were making bets on how long it was going to last at the wedding dinner.
That's
yes. And as we get through this, I'll point out which factor it was that made everyone say this.
It's pretty disrespectful.
It was very disrespectful.
You
yes.
don't do that on the wedding day.
Right. You would think. You would think. So we have some sense of this. We can see like, oh gosh, this is not good. And so let's kind of break it down, because I'm sure what you see and what you know is going to fit with the research. So on the other side, we don't always have to look at it negatively. There are happily married couples, even celebrities can make it, So Denzel Washington has been married for a very long time, Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick, is that her name? And it's all publicity. You never really know what's really going on in celebrities or really anyone's private life. But they seem really happy, and I'm rooting for them, So if we study these couples, if we study the couples that as far as we know they're going to stay married forever and they're happy, what did they do differently in terms of kind of, we're talking about up front. So I say on your wedding day for drama, but before you're married, what are the things that these people did versus the others didn't? Yes?
Now, I may be totally off because these people might be famous people that they got married to, but the fact that they didn't get married to a celebrity so that it's not like just celebrity with celebrity.
Right, yes.
Those are 2 celebrities together, aren't they?
Yeah, Kevin Bacon and
See, I don't know, then never mind.
She's got her own show on TNT.
Yeah, never mind then. No, see, I thought the guy wasn't the celebrity. Never mind.
No, Kevin Bacon's a huge actor. He did a lot more stuff in like the 90s, I think.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't know Kevin, or you?
I didn't know Kevin. I recognized the other girl.
Oh wow. Yeah, I guess he hasn't done anything for a while, has he?
Oh, see, I don't watch sci-fi. Never mind.
Okay. So we're going to cover 5, and there are more, obviously, and the more you add, the more you can get it up. But there are 5 factors, and then kind of plus 1 that always comes up that you don't have control over. But these 5 you do have control over, and then plus 1. And with that together, we get it up to almost 90% accuracy. We can predict, on your wedding day, who's going to make it through. Most divorces happen well before 10 years. Who's going to make it the first 10 years, and who won't. So, is there another slide here? The vast majority of people say that they want a lifelong partner, that this is something that they want. They want to find someone that they can share their life with and be together forever and be happy and have a family and share life with. The vast majority of people say that they want this. And don't you want that? Doesn't that look so great, you know? So what are the 5 factors? And then we're also going to try and tie it in, like how do we apply this to our lives? How can we use this research to hopefully, some of this will also apply to the marriage itself, you know, keeping the marriage happy, which is kind of another topic. But how can we use this? So what do you think they are? There's 5 factors. What's one of the factors that would make you look at a couple and say, oh, this is a mistake, or oh, good for them? Yes? Okay. And religious beliefs especially how? Why is religion important? Okay, good. So about being compatible.
The homogamy.
Yes, good. So compatibility is huge. All right. So, values and goals. There are 5 things that it is very, very important that you agree on. And it's really about compatibility. There's some attitudes that you can maybe argue, you know, this is healthier. People who are this way maybe tend to be a little bit happier, but it's much more about the compatibility that's important. So you've got to be on the same page. And so what are they? So religion is one. What else do you think they are? Yes?
Culture. Oh, sorry.
Oh, so yeah, within a culture. But what are the values or goals you need to agree on? Yes? No?
Kids.
Yes, children. And so we'll go through all of these. Children, Maggie? But once you're done with school, it's not school anymore. What is it? It's career. Good. So religion, hey Nicole. Religion, children. Did you say children?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Career, good. And then 2 more. Yes?
I guess money.
Yes, good. Money. Very good. Money. And 1 more?
Sex.
Yes, and we put that under this umbrella of marriage rules, right? So we'll kind of go through all these 5 factors. What are they, and why are they important? So the 5 are, you need to be similar, compatible on the issues of money, children, religion, career, and marriage rules. And what exactly does that mean, and why are they important? So let's go through them kind of one by one. So money. What we mean by this is not whether you have it or whether you don't. Rich people get divorced, middle-class people get divorced, people in the poverty line get divorced. It's not so much about having money, it's about having compatible values. So attitudes about spending and saving. What are your attitudes about money? And obviously healthy financial attitudes are helpful, but it's more about the compatibility. So why? Why is having compatible views about money important? 3?
Well, I would assume because I think it's important to save money for maybe our kids' education in the future, and they think it's okay to go on all these family family vacations or whatever. Then we obviously have this huge gap in what we find appropriate.
Right. Good.
Which causes problems in other parts of your relationship as well.
Very good. Hi, come on in. Yes.
If the guy's like a penny saver and then the woman runs his credit card over, he's just gonna freak out and have a nervous breakdown after a while.
Right, exactly. Yes.
I was gonna say, whose money is it?
Oh, that's true.
Right. So some couples, they cope with it we have a joint savings account for the bills, and then we have a savings plan and how much we're investing and putting in 401ks and all that, and then we have separate, that's your money and my money, and that's compatibility. If you can say, here's how we structure our money, and I'm on board with that, and this percentage of your income goes in here, and you can blow it all. That's your business because we have this joint account, this joint savings plan. That's compatibility. Yes, good, Brandon.
But isn't the point of marriage to share your assets?
Not necessarily.
Well, you know what, really?
It's your view.
Yeah.
Right. What I think is every couple is going to have their issues, and if they can figure out what is going to work for them, oh my gosh, more power to you. Really, more power to you. And honestly, I wouldn't put my parents up as an example of a happy marriage, but they'll never get divorced, and they have it like that. They have separate accounts and a joint account, and that it works for them. Because the problem is, like Bree said, let's say if someone who really has healthy attitudes, like I save, I'm not irresponsible, but I'm married to someone who thinks if we're not saving 70% of what we make, I'm upset. How often is that going to be a problem?
Every single time they run their credit card.
Yes.
Every purchase that they do, it's going to create a fight between the couple.
Exactly.
Why did you buy this? Why did you buy the motorcycle? Why did you go on a shopping spree?
Yes.
That's my thing.
Oh, is it? It's a friend of mine. A friend of mine in Illinois. She is not irresponsible with money. She's, compared to your average American, very responsible. No credit card debt. Doesn't run the card up. But every time the credit card bill comes, she would tell me sometimes, I gotta go because I think the Visa bill's coming today. And she's like, run to get home. Because if he got it, it was things like, did you go to lunch 2 times this month?
Yeah.
And did you get an iced tea? Because that's $1. I think water is good enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
And so it's a constant source of conflict if you think I'm wasting our money or your money by spending $1 on iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about compatibility. And we don't have to be exactly the same, but we have to be close enough that we can come to a common ground. If we're so far apart that I want to go to, and she would try to hide what she spent. She worked very hard to hide what she did. And even then, it was a constant source of conflict. We can't even come to a middle ground. It grinds at your marriage because we just don't see the world the same way. We just don't want the same things. Yes?
Even if like the couple are 2 penny savers, it's what they penny save on.
Yes, right.
Like my parents are both total penny savers, but my mom buys things that she finds important and my dad thinks they're totally unimportant,
Right.
and vice versa.
Right.
And my mom uses my account to try to hide what she's
Oh,
no, like seriously, and she has to pay me back all the time. She likes to use cash, not the card.
Yes.
And it drives him crazy, and then like every time he's on a trip he'll come back and like they'll have a huge talk of how they spent the money, and
Right.
it's crazy.
And it's stressful. It's hard on your marriage. It's hard
Oh,
on your
yeah.
relationship, and now you're involved. It's stressful for
Yeah.
you too.
And it's like I'm the daughter, so I'm kind of forced to help, but
Yes.
it's like, did you spend it on this? And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's hard. Yes.
No, but the control factor too.
Yes. Right.
Especially
Mhm.
with the more traditional.
That's true.
Right.
And you
Yes.
really get involved.
Yeah. Well, so my friend that I just told you about, the iced tea, they're divorced now. And that was not the only issue in their marriage, but it was a major factor in why things got run down and why they became so unhappy. So, you know, of these 5 things, sometimes even just one is enough to kind of ruin your marriage, especially this one. So children. Do you want children at all? If you do, when do you want to start your family? How many do you want? And once they are here, what are your attitudes about parenting and discipline and things like daycare and stuff like that? And this one issue, if you don't want the same things, this is huge. And why? Bree?
Well, because it's a deal breaker. Women, typically, I'm not saying all women, but most women want children and some men don't, or
Right.
vice versa.
Right.
And that's a deal breaker because they feel like they have to have that in their life.
Right.
It's like what they were like meant to do. I was
Right.
meant to be a mother.
Yes, good. So I want 3 kids and you want 0. What's the compromise on that?
What?
There really isn't a compromise.
Exactly, there isn't. So this actually happened to a friend of ours from graduate school. They had been together for 10 years, and they were fabulous together. They had fun, they laughed, they were like a really great couple, except she wanted a large family and he wanted none. He didn't have a good childhood, he didn't think he would be a good dad, and he didn't want children. And so for 10 years, they didn't get married just because of that one issue. And then finally, they decided, well, we love each other, you know, and that's what matters, right? Let's get married. We've been together 10 years. So they got married, and we were there, and people were like, what are they doing about the kid thing? What did they decide? And nobody knew. And the answer was they hadn't decided. They were getting married without addressing this issue. So guess what happened?
They divorced.
But before the divorce, what happened?
Yeah.
So they go on their honeymoon, they have a great time, they come back, and how long is it before they're fighting? Almost immediately, because she's 31.
And now she's
like,
looking for
I want a big
kids.
family, I'm 31, I need to get started.
Yeah.
He's like, but I don't want kids. She says, but I do. So he was good friends with my first husband, and so I know the details. That she came home one day, and he was sitting on the couch, and she came down the stairs, and she had bought a box of condoms, and she tossed them at him. And she said, you know what? You don't want kids. Birth control is your job. I'm off the pill. And, you know, some women would have just gone off the pill. You know, at least she was straight up about it.